Hello friends, it's Cindy Brumbaugh from CindyLeeBDesigns.com, independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator. I wanted to show you a card that I made using the floating strip technique and the fun die that is in the online exclusive Frosted Forest. Now this stamp set is right here. Now, it has these great tall pines and the small, like traditional Christmas tree pines that we think of. And it has a set of dies. You can see this one cuts this one out and all the other pieces there. We've got one that cuts the stamped one out. And we've got other ones in there that I've shown on my blog. So just look up in the search bar, Frosted Forest. But this one uses a unique die that is in there that is like your regular type of a tree here with the branches, and I'm going to show you how we can use this singular die here to make this fun card. Now I chose the Thoughtful Journey paper. Now that paper is the gorgeous paper with all those scenes in it, with all the beautiful colors, and then the watercolor on the back. This is so versatile. I put this in my Busy Bee bag last month, and so some of you may have that paper on hand. Now this pack of paper with 48 sheets of 6x6 has 3 different color schemes, palettes, I guess you would say, with this like kind of foliage, kind of reminds you of water and sky with a horizon line there. There is a bluish one with boho, misty moonlight, some peacock. I'm thinking maybe this would be a little bit of granny apple green. And then this one has your corals, your peaches, your wild wheat. And this one here had the mossy meadow and some purplish hues from the petunia and the boho. And so I chose to do the prominent dark color in there for this one. But this one we're going to do on this card, we're going to use this one. Now I did find out on these designs, they're all essentially the same design but different colors. You've got more of a design here on the right side, so I'm cutting it that way. So what I did when I put this into my paper cutter is I wanted 3 1/4 square to work with my circle that I'm going to cut it out with. So I cut 3 1/4 from here. So that meant I turned it upside down, put it into my trimmer. Oh, I can just show you. Okay, so I've got my trimmer here. Okay, so I wanted this side, so I turned it upside down and I went to 3 1/4. And then I got that part of it. You can also use this side, but with the trees, when I put the trees here, I didn't see as much over here, but where I do on this one, but definitely could do it the opposite way. But I did do 3 1/4, so I'm only getting 1 out of that, unless I wanted to do this, which I couldn't, because I have to make this 3 1/4. So now this is going to be 3 1/4 this way. There we go. And then I have these beautiful pieces to play with. Oh, so pretty, so pretty. I can't wait to play with those extra pieces because I have a lot of them now. Okay, so now I have that 3 1/4 inch square, okay? Now I'm going to take a piece of acetate and I'm going to cut my acetate window sheet to 3 1/4 as well, because it's going to go under. Now, when I made this card, this pink one with this beautiful pretty in pink, I ran that thing through my Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. I swear, honestly, I'm not exaggerating when I say 10 times. And I still didn't get the whole way through it. So I just kind of trimmed around it, no problem. But then I realized the window sheet I had a protective coating over it and I had to peel that. So I think this one's gonna go a little easier. So what I'm gonna do is take my acetate and I'm just gonna kind of sit it here so I don't lose it. And I'm going to take this, now this is 3 1/4, so it's not evenly spaced, like as far as like 3 inches, you can easily, but what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna randomly think, okay, well, not randomly, because I'm actually gonna do this. This is 3 1/4, so half of that is 1 1/2, and then half of a quarter is 1/8. So I'm gonna go to 1 1/2, and then I'm gonna go 1/8. So there was my random cutting in half that I measured, okay? Then these ones I'm just gonna put in there and eyeball it. Might not be exactly halfway, but easy to eyeball. Now I have 4 pieces here, okay? I'm gonna take those out of my trimmer, put them back in order. Is that in order? Or is this one down here? Yes. Okay, so that is my order. Now I'm gonna take my, and I think I might pull out my, why don't we just pull out the craft mat here, silicone craft mat. Okay, I'm gonna put this here. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and use my Tombow adhesive, and I'm gonna take the 2 middle ones, okay? I'm gonna take the 2 middle ones, put some glue on the back of them. And I'm just gonna go a little off center. Okay, little off center there. Just use these 2 sides as my place to butt it up against there to know what I'm doing. Then I'm gonna do the next one, making sure it's the next one. Put a little space in between it, the 2 of the, and I just noticed I have a little fuzzy there. Ah, don't do that, because you know what it did? It just scratched a little bit on my, well, it came off, but you want to make sure those little fuzzies are off there. Now we're just going to put these other ones on, okay? Now, go towards the top portion, because it's going to go off a little bit off the bottom because we put that space in and we're putting another space. Okay, and then I do the same amount of space that I put between my initial 2 pieces, and you'll notice that it comes off a little bit because we put space in there. And now we'll do this one. Now it goes like this, so I'm going to put more glue down towards the bottom here. You can use your tape runner if you would like, but I'm just using glue. Makes it lickety split. Now I put another space there. And you want to put enough space because you want that illusion how you can see through it. Okay, so now you'll notice I have space here and I have some space here. I'm just going to make sure that's all glued down. And then I'm going to use my Stylish Shapes circle, the largest in the set of Stylish Shapes. And you'll know the Stylish Shapes has the different, I think they're still current. I hope they're still current. So I'm not far from you, but what I'm going to do is see how I can get most of this upper part there. And even if I go above the acetate, that's okay because I'm still going to get that, but I want the acetate mostly there because I just realized that. But I want to get a lot of that top part because I want to get that like sketchy part. So now I'm going to put that through my Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine without dropping my trimmer there. So how about you just take a little peek at that? Because if I put this on my table, you will be dizzy. Okay, I'm just gonna run it through. You can see me doing this. It's crazy. Because my other little table has a little bit of give to it as well. You can hear me going through 1, 2, 3, 4. And the reason why I wanted to do it and make sure that it went through, you can see some of the paper, is, and this actually is a thicker acetate that I had, window sheet. You could also die cut your circle first, except for I wanted this pretty stitching here. It just, I think, makes it there. But it is a little bit thick here. But I suspect whenever you make this, I suspect that you won't have any issues with it. But if you do, acetate is very easy to cut. And so I'm just going right in this line, and it's literally just like butter going through there. It's so easy. But like I said, I liked having that, the stitching on that, those little polka dot things on the edge. So I went this extra. But if you did your acetate first, you would be putting your strips across it, and then when you would have to trim all the edges off anyhow. So really, this step is okay. But I do remember using a thinner acetate on a different card, and I did not have to trim. It cut right through. I'm always experimenting with different mill, like 2, 3, 4. I think this is one of my heavier ones that I did a project with, and I needed a really heavy window sheet. And that is the one that I found when I went scrounging for this technique here. There we go. And we've got this pretty circle that you can see through. You can really see it on this side, okay? Then we're just going to be putting it on the front of this Calypso coral. And we want to do the, okay, here we go. Where's my little tree? Okay, so I cut the piece for the tree in the Cajun, because the Cajun's dark on there, and then I just put this with a little bit of edge there, okay? And the tree will fit on there. Okay. And the more tree you do, you can adjust it as much as you want. So I'm going to do a little bit more tree on this one, and I'm going to run this through my Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine, or whatever die cutting machine you are using in your craft room. I know we all have different ones, but Stampin' Up! Carries the Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine, and I'm running it through to get my trees cut. I love these trees. Love them. So here we go. We're going to pull those out. Save this little piece of Cajun because you have this whole big space up here you could do something with. Okay, and there we go. Get that piece out. Let's put our die away because that is essential that I do not lose that die. I'm going to put it on this side. When I put my dies back in these containers, normally I put all my dies on this side that doesn't have the clip. I put the name here, and then I can easily do that. But if I'm working a project with this and I want to know the ones that I'm using on the project, I'll stick them on this side to remind me of that. I try to do that at class too with my stamping girls so that they know which ones we're using. Okay, so here we go. We're going to be putting this here and then this on here. Now we're going to use dimensionals to pop up. If this was a thinner strip, you could use your foam strips, which I have a ton of because one time I bought like 7 packs of them because I couldn't find the other ones I had bought for a class. So I have a lot of them, but this is a nice thick portion here that I'm using. But this technique really looks really fun with I'm going to use up all these pieces I have everywhere. I'm going to use this one here, down here, on. Just make sure you're not getting any dimensional that's visible through your acetate. That's the key to this. And I think I'm just going to go ahead and put these big ones up here too, because I've got lots of space here. Okay, so that is your key there. And like I said, make sure you can't see any dimensional through there. You see, what am I seeing here? Oh, I'm just seeing a little glue there. Okay, then we're going to take these dimensionals off. I would say what I'm going to do on this card is I'm going to stamp the sentiment on the card base itself, just to keep a simple look to the card without the sentiment popping out on white. So I'm going to set that aside a second, knowing that I'm probably going to have it right about middle here. So I'm going to put my sentiment down here. I'm using this really great set, Unbounded Love. It really has a great variety in here. You know, your congratulations, you're a blessing, you're loved, have a blessed day, sympathy, birthday, inside, outside, faith. Oh, I just love this. So I decided to make this a birthday card. I'm going to use my one of my spots, my Cajun craze, because it's the dark one in there. I'm going to use a spot because this has a little bit of a fine script in there that's a little easier to, let's see, get that out of my way. Get this. This happy birthday can be kind of random on there because it's not really straight. Just hold it down. 1, 2, 3. Help me, stamping Jesus, that this looks good. Thank you, Jesus. Yes, it did. Okay, so now we can pop on this circle, keeping our vertical lines. I'm trying to make sure I'm going straight here. There we go. Looks to be about, making sure it wasn't upside down. And then the more you put under here, the easier it'll be to put a little bit of dimensional there. And I'm going to snip off. Think of it this way. I'm covering up the bottom, so I can put some dimensional here and here. So I'm going to use some of these little edges here. I think it'll fit on this side. And this does give it some stability, putting it on this side right here. And it's going to have that same height as the, then I just need one over on this other side. And then I'm going to use glue under the, okay, because you can see these pieces are going to go in the bottom of my circle. And I just noticed that this here went a little bit over on that edge. So there we go. So this is going to kind of sit there, and then I'm going to put some glue right here to secure that part of it. So put some glue here. This really is a simple card to do and really works well with a landscape pattern on your card. I mean, on your designer series paper. This really pretty. And you could easily, well, it helps if you take off the, I'm like, why isn't that? But you know what? That gives me a chance to tell you that you can put some glue on what I call it a little paper paintbrush. Get that glue boogie off there. Get a little glue on here. Okay, there we go. I call these my little glue. And just get a little bit on the back of your tree branches. And then now we can get it about the same distance on each side. Okay, there we go. Hold down the glue that I put on there. Isn't that just simply simple? Okay, and that was just using your largest circle, but you could use anything. You could do a triangle there if you want. If you go back on my blog and put in the search bar, my blog is cindyleebedesigns.com. Underneath the YouTube description, I have a link to the blog and this card post, so you can see additional photos and measurements and such that are also, the measurements and the online links to the store are underneath the YouTube description too. But when you go over to the blog, you just get a little more information. But in my search bar, under the right side where my photo is, you can put in floating strip technique, and you can see a really cool Christmas one I made out of triangles. And we had a ball making that one in class. And with that one, you just have to go see it. It's a good one. So I'm going to put coordinating sentiment on the inside. But I want to pull back my stamping mat because this is a photopolymer and they stamp so much nicer when you have some cushion underneath a photopolymer. There we go. And we got a nice clean, because your felt from your spots have a little better of a, a better distribution of the ink on little fine, tiny little, I find that I'm trying to keep all my spots from my paper pumpkin and then make some spots with our uninked spots because they really work well for the little fine fonts, and also when I'm using my Stamparatus or any of your stamp positioning tools. Ooh, this wasn't quite dry yet. And mostly once your ink is on there, you're done. I don't even think my little thing's gonna take, nope. Those kind of things really irritate me, but I just have to say, no, today it's not. But my friend Cheryl would say, no, Cindy, I know you're going to change that. But there you go. But on this one, I kind of went a little rogue on here, and I didn't put white because this was such a light color, and I kind of like the fact of saying pink and pink as opposed to like the starkness of it all. But one thing is if you do want to write on this because it's a light color and you mess up, you can put the white in there. And you know, you can also maybe cover this up with, this is what I would do. Okay. This was the piece I used here. Okay. So if I was going to be crazy and want to cover up my mess, I would just put this piece right here and nobody would know. I could cover that up and put the sentiment on top, which I may do. You just never know what's going through Cindy Lee B Designs head. Okay, there is our cute little design technique on this card. So that's just simply using that die that's in the Frosted Forest bundle. And I'm looking around and wondering if I may just show you another card. Let me see. I do not have it prepped, so guess what? You're going to see that card in a little while. So there you go, Frosted Forest, little landscape with the silhouette of the trees. Think of using these as black with the sunset behind them. That would be really pretty too, using the silhouette. So this is a fantastic bundle with these trees, and it has all of these masks that you can see I've been using. Masks, i.e. stencils. So take a look at this. It's on our online exclusives. When you go to the Stampin' Up website, when you're shopping with Cindy Brumbaugh, you'll see that at the top left. You'll go down, you'll see menu, and then you'll see online exclusives. Press that. There is a plethora of new products in there, so make sure you check that out. Frosted Forest bundle with the Frosted Forest dies and the Frosted Forest stamp set. And don't forget, August is your month to redeem your July bonus coupons. I've had a lot of people using them, and on August 6th, we are going to be having a 15% off select designer series papers in the annual catalog, and there are a lot of them. Check my blog post for that. All these pretty ones, you can get this Thoughtful Journey at 15% off. That's $12.50 down to $10.62, I believe. A really great bargain. And I do believe it was if you order 4 packs of the DSP at that discounted price, I'm going to send you a special treat in the mail. So take a look at that on my blog, cindyleebdesigns.com. Thanks for buzzing by, friends.